Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Mr. Daniel Yu, Global Strategist at Yuanta Securities. Mr. Yu, good afternoon. Thank you as always for making time today.
Good afternoon.
Well, let's start with the U.S., which was sharply lower overnight on concerns over China's lockdown situation, whether the rules are going to get tougher or we'll see some changes, what that means for the global economy. Also, Fed officials talking about monetary tightening possibly continuing. Shares of Apple down around 2% last Friday, off another 2.6% today. What's the story in the global markets?
Yes, and the regular trading day of Monday, Dow fell by 1.5%. S&P 500 dropped 1.5% as well. NASDAQ composite tumbled by about 1.6%, with all 11 S&P 500 sectors finished lower on that day. Major reason for this is because people are uncertain about the equities and risk assets due to the uncertainty that's happening in China. There's continuation of protest against the strict COVID restriction across the country, and that is clouding the global economic outlook. Also, the hawkish comment coming out from the Fed saying that they'll continue to keep on their hiking path, which puts uncertainty about the economic recovery per se in next year. However, though, if you look at the Chinese market today, it rallied by 2.3% plus. The H shares also up 6%, and most of the Chinese stocks are recovering quite quickly due to the possibility that China might be reopening the market quicker than expected. Also, that affected positively on the U.S. stocks futures, which is rising by somewhere around 0.5% or so at the current point in time.
Well, today the KOSPI started out lower, but in the end, Korean shares were far into positive territory. The gain was bigger on the KOSDAQ. Tech was doing well, as were airlines. Asiana Airlines IDT, a subsidiary of the company in particular, rising by the daily limit on signs that that merger with Korean Air could go ahead. Tell us about the domestic market.
Yes, in terms of the Korean market, fundamentals seems to be quite intact, and the market is recovering nicely. If you look at the KOSPI, it was up by 1%. KOSDAQ was also up by 1.34%. If you look at foreign investors, they are actually coming back gradually. If you look at the regular KOSPI, they bought about 60 billion, but on the KOSDAQ, they bought 115 billion. The futures market, they bought about 210 billion. So overall, it seems that foreign investors are net buyer of the market. On top of that, institutional investors are also net buyer of the market, while the retail investors are the only one that's selling. If you look at the Korean won movement, it has appreciated to 13.27 won to dollar, going down by about 11 won to dollar. The appreciation continues. We think that the reasonable number would be below 1,300 on a longer-term basis, and therefore we think the foreign interests could be continued. In terms of the interest in sectors, as you said, the airline stocks as well as the aerospaces, defense stocks did quite well. Some of the theme-related banking sector as well as the traveling sector is also doing quite reasonably well. Also, electric vehicle side, the automobile sector is doing quite reasonably well as well. Overall, market seems to be indicating that economic slowdown might not be as significant as most people are worried about, and that interest rate hike would be probably near to the end, and therefore market will be in a good situation to maybe recover in a gradual basis over the next 1 year or so.
Got it. All right, Mr. Yu, we'll have to leave it there for today, up against the clock. Thank you as always for coming on the program. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.